We do on Central, innit? It goes straight onto YouTube Live. Yeah, the camp phone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a camp phone, don't I?
You got the camp phone?
No. He said he did. Brother said that. Yes.
Login details on the phone.
What is it?
Yeah, that's an old one.
Yeah, that seems better already.
Yeah, I think it is. It's actually playing now.
It's a little bit better.
Yeah, it's a bit clearer. That one was choppy before.
You sound just.
Yeah.
You got on mute.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I got something.
Go ahead.
Just a quick one. Matthew 4:17. For that time, from that time, Yahushua began to preach and to say, "Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand." And yeah, the kingdom's at hand, because now it's like what? We're one more year closer towards the destruction of this place. And like the brother mentioned, we deal with the year 2022. There are all kinds of shit popping off to where it's like you compare the start of the year to the end. It's like two different. You've gone through, you descended into the phantom zone, man. You're dealing with a whole different form of how shit's moving. So how much more so, through the course of 2023, Lord willing, we could be out here. But yeah, that's why it's what the kingdom's at hand, man. It's something that we're seeing come to pass before our very eyes. Because even with the MOTB, that's something where we've basically seen what more and more things happen. You had before the year, when the year kicked off, it was what's his name, Neuralink, Elon Musk was mentioning that. Now we've seen there's other companies already been doing human trials, and then as well, it's become something that's now a hot topic. It's being spoken about on a much wider scale. It's being debated to where it's like, yo, this is something that we could see, come to pass in some, in some means, some fact, like parts of it come together very soon. Same for with the crypto, with the what's it called, central bank digital currencies. That's something that was, I think it was only really China and a few other countries where they were doing trials, and then the US said they had to jump on it. But it's like what Canada, the UK, the Bank of England, these guys are now saying like, oh, we need to get into this.
Yeah, I was redoing some research earlier on in the month, and it's basically CBDCs. It's like 95% of like the global GDP. Like countries representing 95% of the global GDP are now working on CBDCs.
Yeah, because it's even with China. The thing with China is the way they were able to to enact that, where it was like what, having the money with a time limit on it, all these different things. That then what lets you see like, yo, these guys are gonna make that shit like tokens, man. Gonna make it. It's basically more control. And they always say it's like, oh, it's for security to stop criminal elements getting around it. But then, that's always a classic argument. It's for your own good.
Some precepts in it.
Okay.
Sure.
You got
something?
I got something. Well, it's a bit of a longer one, but
I was on the mark, innit?
Oh no, if you got one on that, because I was.
So this is on the mark. This is Revelations 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads, man. So all types of people and all classes of people are going to be, you know, they're going to be persuaded or forced to receive that mark, man. The M-A-R-K, which is that.
Really, I was gonna say really persuade because it's deception.
Yeah, deception. That's it.
You know, you ain't gonna be forced. It's gonna be presented to you in a fashion that there'll be a temptation. Yes, you ain't like you go to our forefathers in the book of Second Maccabees.
Yeah.
The woman, the mother with the 7 children, and the elder as well.
Yeah.
They said, you know, they came like, look, you know, do this for us.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do it. Look, it's a good idea if you do this. No. And then that's when the countenance is going to change. And then it's really going to be like, look, you know, torture, whatever method.
Yeah.
And then it's on you.
That's right.
There's a temptation.
That's right, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, because if Esau forced it on you, it's not tempting you, is it? It's just like.
Yeah, scripture says they that consent unto them shall be had in derision.
Yeah. Can't come for that. But yeah, so there can be celebrities, people in the prisons, you know, it says free or bond. Yeah, and obviously they're going to be using celebrities to push the, you know, the CHIP hard as well. A lot of jigs were influenced when the you know, the Vex was out, the Yabs and Jabs, stuff like that. You had your Juvenile making a song about it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
You know what I'm saying?
White,
Verse 17. But no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. You know? So what's that talking about? Buying and selling. Buying and selling. That's going to be the new form of way of spending, exchange, currency. Yeah? It's no longer going to be the tap with your credit cards and debit cards anymore. It's going to be completely cashless, no more coins and cash. You know, what we moved from the paper notes to the plastic notes. They've been making excuses about, oh, you know, this could be what they were saying about
the virus.
Yeah, exactly, about the virus. This can, you know, stuff like that.
Carry it as well.
It can carry it on the money. So they're using that excuse to get everybody, you know, chipped, man. You know what I'm saying? And here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the for is the number of a man, and his number is 666, which goes to the 666, which I believe Russell, yours going into this as well. Like it goes into like the barcodes as well, right?
The three thick lines on the barcode.
That's right.
You've got the first one, which is a thick black line, the one in the middle, one at the end. Both represent 6 in the UPC code.
That's it, bro. That's it. One precept, yeah.
This is Revelation chapter 14 and verse 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. And we know that beast, you know, is talking about, the Roman Empire, but coming back today through NATO and the EU, right? They're alive and kicking today, all right? And they're going to be, greatly involved in the implementation of that RFID, right? The chip.
That's right.
All right. And it says, and we know that they got an agenda of establishing the NWO, the New World Order. That's what this is all a part of. That chip is that, capstone on that pyramid, the final thing to cement their rule. Okay, now it says, and if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand.
And just in case anyone out there wants to get smart, if you try to take it anywhere in your body, it could be your elbow, your legs, wherever. If you take that, you're still getting destroyed, right? Because that's it. When you go into the mark, it talks about a badge of servitude onto the devil. Yeah. So if you take it, you're through, and there's no coming back from that. You know, your judgment is inescapable, man.
You can't repent from taking that.
That's it.
So it says this is the judgment. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So that shows you the judgment there. You're not going to receive any mercy of the Lord. right? The Lord is going to have righteous anger towards those that take the chip, man. You know, that's why it's a serious message when we teach what the MOTB is. You know, what is the chip? You know, what is the charagma? Because people saying that it ain't the chip, what are they going to do when it comes? Most likely they're going to take it. And that's blood on those people's hands that we're teaching that it wasn't what it was. All right? They're going to receive that destruction with the fire when America, Babylon, is you know, pelted with those missiles, you know, and people are burned to death, man. All right?
Got signed. This is Revelations 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which is going into that mark, man. The CHIP, man. Like the brother mentioned, it's, you know, people are going to be persuaded through that temptation, man. And if you could probably show if a brother can get, was it Psalms 55:21? Smooth on the heart. Yeah, because he still talks a big game, man. He's a good advertiser. He's a good marketer, you know. So, and he's also deep into psychology. So he knows how to play the minds of the people, psyops and stuff like that, right? So he was
Quick one on that.
Yeah, you got something?
Yeah, just on that. It says Psalm 64 and 6, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. But both the inward thought and the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
Very deep, man. So they research all of these things. Oh, how do the minds of the people think when this happens? You know, the PRS, problem, reaction, solution, pressure from above and below. How, you know,
what psychological operations?
that's it, man. Psyops, man. There you go, man.
And that's something that there's a whole research institutions, think tanks and whatnot, where they'll do studies. And the way ESO goes about them is usually, whenever you check these studies, they'll say, oh, we invite these people in, gave them a test. But then there's the one where they're doing the think like for when, how groupthink works. They're the one where they had them all go into a room and think they're taking the test. Then afterwards they started smoke coming out the door, and then everyone else was like just paid to be there, didn't do shit. Then the one person, they were like, okay, what do they do? Then they said the vast majority of them didn't even move. They'll sit there like the shit's about to catch on fire, but because no one else moved, they moved. So these are the things that they research into. So when it comes to what, okay, they know, okay, if we can get the masses down with it, we can make it acceptable, then most people are gonna fall in line.
Yeah, or the elder brother posted that in the chat yesterday about basically the algorithm is a very big part of the, you know, of the programming, right? The way the algorithm works, because you create what's called an echo chamber, right? You know, echo, you hear what you're saying back. So then basically people are in a position whereby, hey, because when you actually speak with people on the low, right? You know, when someone gets comfortable with you and they speak to you on a low, a lot of people ain't down with this T shit. A lot of people ain't down with the G shit either, right? But in public, they're like, oh, hey, do you think everyone is really for that? But that's that group think as the brother was going into. I've got a precept on that. If I'm Exodus 23 and 2, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Neither shalt thou speak and cause to decline after many to rest judgment.
It's like that monkey see, monkey do, man. That's like a lot of these people they'll just follow the crowd. But the scriptures gives you the wisdom. You know, they can follow, you know, some, you know, evil just because you see many people doing it. You know, that's what makes this, you know, walk difficult. This is that straight gate, the narrow path, because we're walking that path that not everybody is gonna take, man. You know, they say what the road less traveled. You know, that's basically the narrow path that leads to salvation.
I got a quick one. Romans 12 and 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that you present your body as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. Yeah. So it's as far as for when, you know, you're a man in this word, you're in this walk, then you're meant to be what? To have a renewed mind, to where what you're not being conformed to this world. Because like the brother said, it's like a lot of people, you talk to them, then, you know, when after a while you can start to get to where it's like you realize, oh, they're not just falling in line as far as, you know, in the recesses of their mind, but they just know they have to say certain things. And it's funny because you had the FTX guy,
Sam
Bankman-Fried, SBF,
Yeah.
you know, the new, like, they said, like, they had the leaked text where he was saying, like, oh, you know, I just have to say all that shit just so that they think I'm a good guy. That's how these guys all are. When you deal with, it's a good example is Amber Heard. When the Me Too stuff happened, she was giving talks on abuse. Meanwhile, you know, she was taking a dump on Captain Jack Sparrow's bed, like, you know, that's when you get down to it. Hey, these people aren't even living what they say.
Yeah.
So that's why even more so, like, you know, if you're going to be in the truth, you're just wondering after it. You're just saying, like, oh, you know, it's not so bad. Then it's you know, you're being a simpleton.
Sirach 10 says, as the leader of the people, it's sort of everyone that's in it. But then it says in Psalm 58:3, it says, the wicked are strange from the womb, they go soon as they be born speaking lies. Right? So if the ruler of this person, of this city is someone who speaks lies, so are all that are therein. Right? And that's what we see in this world. No one is honest. Like you know, you try to buy something second hand these days without like buyer protection, man. You don't know what the hell you're getting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the spirit of the people, they're all delusional, narcissists. You know, they need instant, you know, validation. Like
Lovers in their own self.
lovers in their own self.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
That's why you have it with the social media.
Selfie spirit. All of
Yeah,
that.
selfies. And then now it's like, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. Reality TV is like the cornerstone of entertainment right now. Whereas before you had more creative space within entertainment. Yeah, the earliest I remember is Real World on MTV. And I was like, it's kind of weird. I was like, what? They put them in a house and they just sit there? Then Big Brother, and then it just
Now you've got whole channels dedicated
to it.
Yeah.
And I remember it'd be like they had the MTV Diary where you follow your favorite. It's like, oh my God, Mars has got a fucking MTV Diary. He's like, yeah, I'm going on tour. I'm going to be me for like 2 weeks. And it's like, bro, he actually has a fucking personality. That's how you don't see the celebrities. But now, fast forward to the time that we're in now, celebrities are going live on their social media. And now it's like they said, if an ordinary person has 1,000 followers, they're an influencer too. So what's that put in the mindset of the people? I have an impact in this world. I can influence the masses as long as I get some people to follow me. That's it. So now everyone loves themselves and like, okay, I'm gonna be this. I'm gonna curate this lifestyle for myself. But this is all heading to destruction because, as you mentioned it before, brother, about Broad being away and, you know, NT and the Stray K, because basically that's that broad way. And those people that influence the people, they're taking them down on a sinking ship with them, man.
Well, please, sir. Well, good one. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and 11. That's it. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
Can you go into that word device, bro? No way am I in the Greek.
Yep, so the Greek for the word devices is noemo, all right? And it says a mental perception or thought, an evil purpose.
So that's what Esau's trying to push out there into the world, an evil purpose. He has an evil agenda, man. Yeah, evil schemes, evil plans. Like 2030, the New World Order, the Georgia Guidestones. Yeah.
It took them how long
He
to
took-
demolish
you
that?
see-
They
you
took
see
it
what I'm
down,
So 2022 was kind of hot, man.
Yeah, it was what, bro? So much shit happened, bro.
Yeah, they had to take that down. You know, what happened that striked it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it fell down at like 4:33.
Come on.
Yeah, it was when you see the time marker on it and when the explosion happened, it's like 04:33 minutes and 33 seconds. And it was like, okay, cool, calm. We see what's going on.
Yeah. But even that you know, went viral and exposed their plans as well, man. One of the main things was like one of their was it to maintain the humanity under 500 million, I believe, $500 billion. You see, that was going viral, showing you the plans of the elites. you know, what they got in mind. Yeah,
From when the Great Reset was getting spoken about,
exactly. Yeah.
kind of came to the forefront again.
So yeah, go on,
I've
yeah.
got a
You
precept.
got more?
That's it.
Alright, this is John 12:25. He that loveth his life shall lose it, and he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal.
Mhm.
So this is going back into that mark, because only the reason why people are gonna want to take it is because they want to preserve their life, they want to save themselves.
That's
Ezel's gonna reel off all the different, say the reasons why. Look, man, we can give you food, we can give you shelter. You're not gonna have to worry about these different kind of things. And they're gonna weigh it up in the balances, just like they did with the Novid jumper. They're gonna say, you know what, it's the best thing to do. But the moment they do that, all right, willfully do that, and be like, yes, all right, I got it. I'm part of the system. Tells you in Revelation 16 about a soul. Every man
soul,
that took it. So you're gonna have health complications. Just like right now, you have all these people dying right now, and then everyone's all mystified.
Yeah.
But they're all dying for the same they took a Novid.
Yeah. You know that same elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Right, here it is. We can see the elephant.
Yeah.
It's the elephant. Like,
Yeah.
what was so hard?
Yeah.
These guys, well, they blamed everything. They said it's fast food.
Yeah,
They said it's climate change. We're just like,
Yeah, they're trying to make everything kind of change now.
It's BS, yeah, because 2022 was hot, man. Because coming back what you said, look at what happened in sports. The football players, they didn't know us to be the fittest people on the planet, but they're all dropping dead to cardiac arrest, man. But it's because of that receiving. That's it, man.
They've been running like 90 minutes, man.
Come on,
An hour and a
bro.
half.
Yeah.
Like they're like
The level of a football court, football pitch, right?
because it's like football's one of those level of stamina. Same
Yeah.
like basketball.
No, not basketball.
It's higher.
It's
Higher
intense,
intensity.
but football's the most
Yes.
intense. 'Cause I remember I looked, a brother must have posted it. I saw it.
right.
Football's like top 10, 90 minutes,
Mm.
2:45. Basketball's just an hour long, 4 quarters, 15 minutes.
Spurts, yeah.
24-second shot clock is back and forth. More sprinting.
Mm.
But football's 90 minutes, and you're running the length of a football pitch. You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So that's why, like you said, they're dying, man.
Oh yeah. Receiving.
I've got a preset.
I got
Just
one.
said the after you.
2 Timothy 3:1 says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away." And that's just like a cocktail of the modern human being, like this present time, because it's something that man, woman, whatever you're gonna find, they're all caught up in that same like mindset, the hedonistic lifestyle, the chasing pleasures, chasing money, chasing as much experiences as you can.
What's that that the apostles were going into that? Is it Epicurean spirit?
Or Epicurean.
Epicurean, that's the one. Epicurean spirit, yeah.
Epicurean, where it's just trying to maximize your bliss and enjoyment.
Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, you always read that.
Yeah.
About like, not the flower passes by.
Yeah.
Whatever the latest
Yeah,
fashion
the
trend is,
flower youth, yeah.
they just jump on it, man. What we're wearing big boots now? Okay, let's wear that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, we gotta go and fly to Dubai now? Let's go and do that. That's the spirit, man.
Trendy spirit.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing now with the new year.
Yeah.
Like New Year's resolution, all of that, they're living it up,
Yeah.
getting wasted, they're gonna vomit on the streets,
No, it's
walking
like
drunk,
now they're doing like dry January or Veganuary or whatever. It would just be a trend that they'll jump on, and that's because why they're just in the system.
Real quick, so 1 Corinthians 7:31, and they that use this word as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away.
Right, that's cold because that's the thing that's plain to see. But you can go back like 5-10 years, because even talking about these teas, I remember it's like when we're at camp, it would be like on Oxford Street way back in the day. It'd be like you see one. It'd be like seeing a fucking an ostrich in the wilderness, man. It's just like seeing a rare animal. But now it's something where it's common as such. There's one on the train as well on the way here, man.
Yeah, same.
I was like, bro, it's bump into them like left, right, and center because now that's become the new fashion, and that's something that even going back, like because they mentioned Nero used to do that shit back in Rome. That's it. Like these are things that it's because it's the same beast had the deadly wound and was healed. Just like in Rome, they'll get down with these the like Nambla just being the pedestry coming back. So it's all these things are basically coming back because why? It's an Esau's spirit. And it's gonna once again, just like during the Dark Ages when Jake took over, all that got flushed away. But now it's all back.
I got something.
I'm after you, bro.
This is Psalms 49 and 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. I'm saying that because brother earlier was speaking, he was mentioning how like these people that basically love their lives here, man. And they want to prolong their time, they want to keep their lives, but how much more these elites? They want to hold on to their rulership. That's why they're doing all of this, trying to push the mark, the charagma, and that's why you're seeing all of these elites having all these heart transplants, trying not to die.
Yeah.
They want to see their plans come to, fruition. Yeah.
They're trying to chase that what they call fountain of youth, but that's not promised unto them. Immortality is promised to the children of Israel, man. If I can get first scripture.
So they had their time to rule, but the scripture said that they would have a little season, man. So their time is running short, but that's why they had the time where they would go around the earth conquering with the sword, calling the lands after their names, America after Vespucci, so on and so on, but now we're coming into the time where they're being revealed, and we can see that this place is on its way out.
Sorry, on basically when I mentioned fountain of youth, this is 1 Corinthians 15, verse 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of the Most High, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. We live in these mortal, viral bodies that are full of corruption, and they sin, we go off. Scripture talks about sin is basically the wages of death, And what Esau is trying to do is trying to use the flesh and combine it with machine technology to try and preserve life, but it doesn't work that way, man. It's all down to the Spirit of the Lord, right? Verse 51, behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. And this is referring to the elect of Israel, man, right? In a moment, in the twinkle of the eye, at the last trump, where the trumpet shall sound and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this, the corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. When you look up the word mortal, it means able to die. Yeah, but immortality is unable to die. Yeah, so we're going to be like literal, or way better than Superman, because Superman had kryptonite. That was his weakness. But when you read the scriptures, the prophecies in Hebrews 8, it talks about it will be in our inward parts. The law, statutes, and commandments will be in our inward part, and we won't go off. We won't have to teach our neighbor. So therefore, we'll be sin-proof. We won't have no kryptonite. So, and it says, for this, it's like a 54. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the same that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. Yeah, because there'll be no such thing as death for the Israelites, man. Do you know what I'm saying? So Esau, what he's trying to do with that M-A-R-K, yeah, and his technology, these signs and wonders, lying wonders, he's trying to preserve life. But guess what? That gift was not for him, man. It's for the Israelites. So there's nothing he can do, no technology in the world that he can experiment on to get that fountain of youth, man, to live forever, man. It's just for the Israelites. Yeah. Yeah. Go on.
This is Revelation 16 and 14. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth.
Yeah, spirit of devils working miracles. Even with that M-A-R-K, you may have seen things where someone has spoke for the first time with that CHIP, stuff like that, or they've been able to walk. Yeah. So that's the excuses or the persuasion they're going to use on the masses of people to get people hooked onto that CHIP. Oh, this can save your life. this can heal you. Yeah, or you can see now. Yeah, so he's gonna present himself like he's the Messiah, the Lord. Yeah, but it's all to deceive you and to get you destroyed by the end, man.
I'll put that so you can read it.
I'll finish it. Yeah. Oh, is this that's what you have?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's great.
the
It says, "For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of Yahweh Almighty." But yeah, like the brothers are saying, and that's why they're showing you guys like Elon Musk and Neuralink, you know, with their innovative tech, you know, breaking grounds of technology and what is it, making the blind see and all of that. But as the brother mentioned earlier, that there's a grievous sword that comes with that, according to prophecy.
Yeah.
You know, anything that Esau does, it comes with side effects. It comes because he's not. It's a false power. You know, you like brother was reading 1 Corinthians where we changed in a twinkling of an eye. Esau can't do that. He doesn't have that type of power. We get that power through Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Esau, he's a false god, man.
That's it, yeah, you might as well, because it's the same text, just jump up to verse 2.
Verse 2, yeah. Right, this is up in verse 2. It says, "And the first went forward." It says, "And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sword upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image."
Yeah, so that mark is gonna be affecting people. I believe they even said like they wanted to test it on I think I don't want to say the T word. People that were rebellious to society, they said it had what, cyanide, I think? Was that the chemical?
Oh,
Like a poison chemical?
Yeah,
one of the chemicals.
Jones said that.
Yeah, stuff like that. So there's stuff like that, and also even with the radiation.
Yeah.
When you look into that, it's actually harmful to the flesh, man, to the heart and to your tissue, man.
Well, you even just look at what's been happening with the V.
Okay, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's basically, and this is one of those ones as well where anecdotally you can prove it, right? The fact that the people now who have had all of the layups, all of the shots, right, are the ones that are the only ones getting it these days.
Yeah.
Right? You be hit about work, you're like, oh, where's so and so? Oh, they're off sick, they got the thing. And in the back of your mind, it's like, well, I swear that this is Paul Shot Joe.
Steve Murphy, he's doing it from the halfway line. But that's why it's like, it's funny because even with that, it's like there's hella people that's like, they're asking me, it's like, oh, did you take it? I said, nah, they're like, oh. You know, they might be a bit funny about it. I was like, bro, I just say to them, I was like, okay, I'm young and healthy. Like, I live alone. What the hell do you want from me, man? Like, that's it. Yeah. And anyone, that's the thing is most people, unless you're around someone that's like at risk or something, there's no reason for you to even be getting
considering it.
And even if you are around someone that is at risk, there's still no reason for you to get it.
Because it's
a tall tale.
And then with like the way it's transmitted, it's like now, all the stuff they said before, it's the shit was the same for like a year and a half. Now they're saying, actually, we did research and it wasn't, it was all useless, as far as like with the mask, social distancing, all the lockdowns and whatnot. They were saying, the impacts of how the kids have been socialized, they might never recover from it. I'm like, bro, was this a surprise to anyone?
Exactly. We were saying this. Where's my degree? I've got something real quick. Since Sirach 12 from 10 says, never trust thine enemy. For like his iron rusted, so is his wickedness. And that there is physics, man. When you leave iron, you add some oxygen, you get rust. Basically, this is saying this is something that's going to happen.
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable, right? This man, he can do, and what is this going to go and say? So he humble himself and go crouching, right? For medical injustices against the black and brown communities.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Right? Therefore, we think it's best for them to come and we need to make sure that they take it first. Right here, but here it is JB, disproportionately represented in the abortion clinics, disproportionately represented to do with heart disease and all of these other ailments. But it's this one that we're going to care about. It says, yet take good heed and beware of him. right? And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. And that's it, man. You know, and that's one of the reasons, for instance, I was thinking about the priest that says my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, right? Because one of the bits of information our people don't know is that this man is the devil.
That's
Right? Despite the fact that we've told them, you know, starting off with the apostle on down, this is a well-known thing, right? Even just looking at his track record. So as such, when Esau comes and says something, when we hear it, you're like, yo, it's the devil, man.
straight away.
I mean, let me read this to back up your point. Brother called it before. Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
That's it.
Shows you Esau knows what you want to hear, man.
Yeah,
He can
that's
talk
it.
that slick talk.
Yeah.
Oh, he sounds like a woman.
Yeah.
You know, women can do all that slick, oh, but baby, all of this, that, and the other, bro. So you're gonna be wise.
And next thing you know, it's a set up in the hood.
Exactly.
and that's why Esau and Eve have that relationship, man.
Dynamic
Yeah,
talk.
Because when you go back to the garden, he got up in the air and started speaking ever so softly. And she was like, yeah, you're right. Then she went and told Adam, look, you need to eat this.
Yeah.
So that it really is that. Esau knows what he's doing.
Research on that.
And even remember, he's a physical counterpart of who? Satan. When Satan, when the Lord, the day in the book of Job, when the Lord required all the sons of the Most High to come before him, and he asked, you know, Satan to consider his son of Job. What did Satan say? Yeah, he's righteous, but it's because you got a hedge around him. So it's like, so you know about him. You know about Job because he was sitting there praying like, yeah, he was there, man.
You know, they got
That's it. I would have done that. You would have none of that.
True, yeah.
So
shit.
hey, that's where Esau's a cunning hunter, the way he's prayed. So that's where he's on us, man.
Just on that point, is 1 Timothy 2:13 and 14. For Adam was first formed in Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
And it's funny because with, you know, that's how these weaknesses get exploited by especially with Jake. And that's another angle for which, you know, how this, you know, one of the temptations for this mark, man, because it's gonna be what people are, the woman's gonna be like, oh, think about your kids, you baby, fat, whatever. It's one of them angles. And that's another thing that Esau does research into, the dynamics of like how, you know, these things impact people.
You made me think about Cat Williams, man, where he said about smoking the weed death. And he'd be like, you know, you having a hard time? Just smoke some weed and see it don't change your goddamn eyes. Yeah, he smoked the weed. And your kids be shouting, Daddy. Fuck them kids. I'm not saying smoke weed, but that's how you do what I have, man. Because the Lord or your children, your wife, man, fuck that, man.
I've got a quick one. This is Jeremiah 2:33. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. So,
No.
I was going to say, so yeah, you know, you're not supposed to be going to your oppressor to try to gain, love, man. You know, it's as simple as that. Like, this man hates you and he's showing you time after time, but you still want to, oh no, he has my best interests at heart. You know, let's give him a chance. You know, let's vote for Joe Biden. You know, let's vote for, you know, all these, whoever got these guys they put in front of us. But then they end up what? Just, you know, looking to destroy you, man. You're in a worse off position than he was to begin with.
Even on the first bit of that's what trimmest thou thy way to seek love. For instance, you know, a lot of the Jakes, you know, the few Jakes that I know that actually took the V, those are the ones that were working in that middle class environment where it was sort of like there's that social pressure of, oh, well, they all have it, so it's like, oh, I'm gonna have it, and look down on everyone else who hasn't got it, right? And that's that thing. And that's one of the reasons why the Lord separated us from these heathens. And also what scripture says, the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, the way of the wicked seduces.
Yeah, we also going back a bit more. Well, okay, I read it. Ezekiel 28:6 says, "Therefore, thus saith the Most High Power, because thou hast set thine heart as a heart of the Most High. Behold, therefore, I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness." Kind of going back to what I was saying before about Esau and his wiles. You know, he's been given that wisdom. He's been given the capability to, you know, pursue, bring certain technologies to the fore. You know, mainly what that more to start bringing that into fruition. But then these, you know, it's gotten puffed up, and that's kind of how that everyone's also buying into that image. They're looking at Esau like, oh, this guy has really got that, you know, that level. Who can contend with him? But it's something that's been granted onto him, and that's what Eve buys into as well. She's buying into like, yo, this guy's on such an ultimate level. They're looking to get into it. You mentioned like the middle class, Jakes. A lot of them, it's like once there's a lot of people that get a taste of the middle class, they're then trying to shoot for up. They're trying to get up there. They're gonna be going to whatever meetings they need to go to. When there's weird, you know, there's all kind of funky shit going down. They'll still be there, just kind of messing with it, because they'll just be like, "Fuck it, well, I need to get up in there. Once I'm in there, then it's like I'm set. Make sure my kids go to the right school." But that's you know, you're buying into a false image, because these are all things. You deal with the prime ministers, with various different like levels of businessmen and whatnot. They'll all go to Eton. They'll go to like whatever unit they go to, and then they'll be in basically looking after each other. I think it's nepotism is the term, right? Where they'll basically look after their own. So it's fixed. You know, you ain't gonna be able to squeeze in unless you're already set up in a certain kind of level, man. I don't know if you might know, there's an episode of The Simpsons where they start going, like the Simpsons start going to the country club, and then they're basically trying to nice up to all the well-to-do people from Springfield. But then it's like over time they're just like, yo, they're having to squeeze too much. They basically realize they're not even being themselves when they're going up in there. So they just dead the whole thing. And that's how most people are. They'll try and get up there. I'll read a tiny bit more. So it says, "They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the seas. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers. For I have spoken it, saith the Most High Power." But yeah, it's with Esau, that's how his end's gonna be. Because even with like what people are gonna be getting, the MOTB, they're gonna be basically looking like, yo, I wanna get down with they're looking at Esau like he's gonna go on forever. The brother read it. They're thinking about Esau's gonna be established, he ain't going anywhere. But that's it. The reality is you're basically tying yourself down to a sinking. That's true. And it's as far as even for the elites, they're the present structure of society. They're not thinking about keeping this thing going. The brother mentioned the Georgia Guidestones. They're thinking about culling.
That's right. I've got something. This is Isaiah 14 or something, verse 12. And it reads, "How about falling from heaven, O Lucifer?" Yeah, Lucifer goes into being light bearer, man. Right? And these elites of Esau, yeah, they may have some knowledge, but they project a false beacon of light, man. Yeah, because they keep people clouded and ignorant. It says, "O Lucifer, son of the morning, how about cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations," man. Esau is the great colonizer, they call him that. Even in flipping Black Panther, they call him the colonizer, but it's true. Yeah, he's the one that's gone to every country, every continent in the planet, and is in one way, form, or shape has destroyed those people and their culture. Right? You can do a simple Google search and put up European colonization, and you see the whole globe is being influenced or colonized by Esau, especially through violence, man. Right? And it reads, "For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of a congregation in the sides of the north." And just like you kind of read over there, Esau's got like a God complex, man. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be exalted. He wants to be reverenced by everyone to look up to him. Oh, he's the greatest doctor. Or like, let's say a Jake from in Africa. Let's say he studied there and he's good and versed in his maybe like studying in technology and that. If he comes to a European country, no, we don't accept that. We don't accept that certificate. No, you got to do it our way. You know that. Come on, it's bullshit, man. And you got Jakes there in Africa making generators out of nothing, man.
Yeah.
Come on, bruv. It's ridiculous. But also, you know, Esau setting up his space stations and stuff like that. You had Donald Trump? Was it last year or the year before?
So the Space Force.
The Space Force and stuff like that. Why? Because they know there's a coming threat. Yeah, there's a coming threat. The Lord is about to return. And it's verse 14. "I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." See, he wants to play God. No, Esau's very blasphemous, man, which is very dangerous. "Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit." You're going to be brought down to a lower state, man. America is going to be destroyed. You know, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, "Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, but did shake the kingdoms?"
Yeah, man, and this is the thing, man. It was reason which got a view earlier on in the week. You know, saw it, you know, once again all over this week. I mean, here it is. You got this devil, man. This piece of shit. It's funny because we look at him like a piece of shit, but the Lord has given them power over the earth, and people look at him and hold him in high esteem, man.
Yeah.
I was telling the bro the story, like I was out, what do you call it? I was out, you know, further south from here in like Surrey areas, just all up bare Elam, right? You know, just dealing with these Edomites, man, right? Burying his seed, and he's just there like, right? You let that ski up all in you, but that's that image that the Lord has allowed to be put on that man for the time being. But guess what? The Lord is taking that away, right? You know, and it's beautiful because right now Esau can't do anything without shameful spewing being upon his glory, man. Right? You know, like the whole psyop with Andrew Tate and all of that shit. People was like, but wait there, what about Epstein's clients?
Yeah.
Right? You know, tries to talk about the whole Qatar situation. People was like, but wait there, y'all like going into other people's countries and telling them what to do. But look at all of the wickedness that you've done.
Yeah.
Right? So everyone has got that spirit in the world right now, and then long may it continue.
Yeah, that's right.
Got a precept on what the brother just said concerning these wicked elites and Esau. This is 2 Corinthians 11:14, "And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light." So like the brother's saying, you know, Esau's got this image about him now, right? That he's, you know, holy, he's righteous, you know, he's to be followed. And that's why you have all these other nations basically bowing to him, man, brown-nosing him, you know, because he's got the power, you know, and he's gone around deceiving the whole world and making everybody believe that he's the people of the Bible, that he's the Lord, you know, through Renaissance art, you know, which is iconoclasm, which is destruction of images. So he's put that false perception out there, and people think that he's a god, man. But he's going to be brought down, like the brother was reading. You know, all the eyes are going to be narrowly looking on him, being like, "Is this the man? Is this really him?" All that power in the earth, you know, that shook kingdoms with ICBM missiles, that had us all wearing masks in our houses.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to be looking at him as he is, man, and they're going to get their licks. They're going to get their licks.
That's how you know Esau did a number on me.
It's like one of the copies when you're in a building and you ask to eat, you can take off your mask, but then if you walk around, you got to put on your mask. But it's like, you're still in the same air, man.
Yeah.
We ain't got into no airtight like chamber or nothing.
Yeah. which they even they came out. You remember during the the thing, people, the restaurants have like the glass perspex.
Yeah.
And then apparently it came out that fucked up the airflow, so actually made it even worse. But it was a psychological operation, just like the brother was saying. Like most people be like, but wait there, like so what? If I sit down, it's okay. If I stand up, all of a sudden it activates. Like, what are you
That don't
talking
make no
about?
sense, man. It's ridiculous. The germs like, hold on, wait, he's got a mask. Hold this one away. Come on, man. It don't make no sense.
You want more yours?
That was it.
Isaiah 14 and 9, it says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. If raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? And that's how the heathen are going to be looking at Esau, because like brother mentioned, we see Esau as he is. We basically had the film taken off of where, how he's perceived. So we're seeing him as he is. That's why it's like, you already see like what we're messing with. And the worst is when I hear these guys having conversations, and I'm like, bro, the shit these women are laughing at. I'm just like, bro, I was like, was that a joke to you? Like, was that what you didn't do? I was like, bro, you're basically
You're conquered.
You're
I've got something on that. It says Isaiah 25:7, and you will destroy this mountain, the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Right? You go.
Yeah, that covering, man. That's part of Esau, how he basically has everyone wandering after his image, man, following after. That's why everyone, when they're, as far as for, forms of success, what they're trying to accomplish on the earth, they're trying to emulate what Esau has, man. They're trying to emulate his system. They're trying to emulate, his financial systems, his technologies, his ways of life. These are all the things they're looking at, like, oh, if Esau does it, it must be the cutting edge of existence. But that's something that's going to be thrown off to where they'll then be able to see and be like, hold on, we really walking around, making little girls chop their titties off, and making men and chop their willies off, like, and then saying, that's opposite, like, of course not. That's when you see is like, what the fuck, it was complete madness.
I got something. Ezekiel 28:2. Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord power Yahweh, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am of God. I sit in the seat of the Most High, in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man, and not God. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. Right? And that seems to justify it. Yeah, you're wise. Esau's wise. The Heavenly Father gave him the blessing of technology and the smarts to basically execute that technology. That's why we've seen great leaps and bounds in tech, in the past, 50 years or so.
It's like post-World War II.
Yeah. Technology's just it's gone into hyperdrive, man. High speed, what they do when they, in space, and they say, we're going to go into hyperdrive. That's what happened, warp speed. So everyone's like, wow, this man, no, but it's for one purpose and one purpose alone. For you to arrive at that day of your destruction, man.
That's right.
The technology is just advancing to make superior forms of ICBMs.
Yeah.
But it's just a ripple effect.
Exactly.
You get other forms of technology that to benefit. It's not the technology that we have around now, it's the ICBM. Because all this stuff is just, it's offshoots.
Yeah, because to back you on that, it's all of those things that we have today took a lot of money to research. Right now, who has endless has basically a blank checkbook? The military has, right? So when you even look at how the internet was that we have nowadays came about. It actually started off as 3 separate projects, right? But one of them was DARPA.
Yeah,
Right. It was DARPA because just pure, basically simply was like if you had back in the days, you had like a switchboard, if you will, where like you call that guy and there's someone in the middle and it goes to that guy. But then it was like, oh wait, then what happens if the person in the middle, the station in the middle gets blown up? We still need to be contact the other guys, so they created a web so that it could be routed one way or another, despite it one being taken out. From there you have your basic internet.
Mm-hmm. And then it's just,
I've got a precept.
is it a quick one?
Quick one.
Okay.
This is Revelation 6 and verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword.
It's funny, or even funny, because with that sword, the brother mentioned the technology. It's kind of like there's a game Civilization, and they have like a tech tree, and they separate it. Like the main thing that will separate later down the technology line is what comes out. So it'll be the atomic age, then it'll be like the nuclear age, then information age. Because it's basically like from atomic technology, like the atomic bomb, then a bunch of stuff got found. Then after, nuclear bomb, then a bunch of other things got developed off of certain technologies. Like then you have a capability, like things develop, and it's all linked back to that sword. That's the real blessing Esau got. As far as like his military technology wise, he's the most developed. Because even with the let the weak say I'm strong. All the other nations, the heathen nations, they weren't messing with nukes for a minute.
Yeah.
It was only after Esau opened it up. That's when you had them man getting it. The Soviets basically, Lord of War kind of goes into it. After the Soviet Union, that man off the books selling a bunch of shit. That's why you get North Korea. That's why you get Iran. That's why you get like different countries where like India, Pakistan getting nukes.
Brick nations.
Yeah. It's kind of then that, but that was the spirit as well.
Yep.
I got a quick one.
Real quick, just on what you're saying, because they said with the whole Ukraine situation that they can only, and this is what I believe was on mainstream, but they can only account for 30% of the weaponry that they're sending them. So it's like, what's happening to the other 70, man? It's going on the black market.
Yeah. That's what Victor, they needed him
Yeah,
out, man.
Victor.
They got Victor
yeah.
back, man. They Lord of War out there. You know, when you're doing a photo shoot.